Making headlines, Environment Minister departs to Baku, Azerbaijan to attend COP29. Fisheries Minister announces that proposals for mariculture or sea farming in the Maldives have been received from both local and international sources. And Housing Minister announces that the population for urban centres in the Maldives has been set at a minimum of 10,000. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSMNEWS in English with me, Mariam Shalshat. The Republic Day celebrations will take place tonight with the ceremony commencing at 8 p.m. The ceremony will be held at Tarubaruge. During the event, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu will address the nation. The President will also present special prizes to the winners as well as confer the state awards upon the recipients. During the ceremony, President Muizzu will bestow the highest civilian honour, the Order of the Distinguished Rule of Izzuddin, on the Chancellor of the Islamic University of the Maldives IUM, Dr. Muhammad Zahir Hussain, in recognition of his distinguished service and contributions to the education sector. Furthermore, the Presidential Special Awards for Outstanding Services will be presented to 40 individuals and the State Awards to 53 individuals. Baku, Azerbaijan to attend COP29, the largest global environmental conference. Minister Thorig is accompanied by a delegation of senior ministry officials. Previously, Minister Thorig stated that the Maldives would play an important role in the COP29 summit. 4 events have been scheduled to be organized by the Maldives on the sidelines. These include a renewable energy event in partnership with the Asian Development Bank ADB, an initiative on sustainable coral reef management highlighting the importance of reef conservation, the Maldives' role as chair of the COP's Atoll Nations Group, and a ministerial role championing climate adaptation for small island nations. Ahead of COP29, a special event was held to gather input from young people on environmental issues. Based on their insights, a statement has been prepared by Maldivian youth which will be presented at COP29. The Maldives is advocating for financial assistance for vulnerable countries like Maldives to address climate change challenges. The President of Maldives, Dr. Mohammad Muizzu, is also scheduled to attend COP29. Last year, the President attended COP28 in Dubai. This year's COP summit, themed In Solidarity for a Green World, will take place from 11th to 22nd November in Baku, Azerbaijan. The COP summit brings together all UN member states, large and small, to address pressing global environmental issues. We'll now be taking a short break for Isha prayers. We'll be back with more news after the break. Stay tuned.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅವೀಗ ಅಣುವತ ಫೆನುಗ ಹೊರಗಿನದಸು ಪುಂಡು ಪುಂಡುವೆ ತಿಮಾವೆಟ್ಟಗ್ಗಿನವೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಹೆದಿ ಅಹರ್ಮೆನ್ ಕಂಬಡು ಅವಿ ಕೀವೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಪುಂಡು ಪುಂಡುವೆಗೆನ್ ದಾಯರು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಫೆದುಮ ಬೇಣು ಕುರೆಫಾ ವಿಹ ಮಾದ್ದಾತ ತಿಮಾವೆಟ್ಟೆ ದೂವೆ ಮೂದು ಮಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಗೆ ನುವತ ದಂಡುಗೋವಾನ್ ಕುರೆವೆ ತರುಕಾರಿಗೆ ಜರಿಯಾಯ್ ಮಿವಿಹ ಮಾದ್ದ ಅಹರ್ಮೆನ್ ಎಬಕ್ಕೇವೆ ಅದಿ ಮೀಗೆ ಸಬಬು ಇನ್ಸಾನುಂಗೆ ಸಿಹತ ಎತ ನೊರಕ್ಕಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರಿಮತಿವೆ ಮಗುಮಚ್ಚ ಶಾಯಮೂದ ಕುಣಿಯಳುವುಂ ಹುಟ್ಟಾಲಮ
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ನು ತಿಯ ಬೇಫ್ರುನ್ನ ಹಿಲೆ ಬಲಾಲೆವೇನೆ ಅದಿ ಅಡುವ ಹಾಲೆವೇನೆ ದುನಿಯೆಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ತಾಗುಹುರೆಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಗಡಿಯಕು PSM ಗೆ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಬಲಾಲುಮ ಅವಹ PSM Air ಆಪ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕುರವ್ವ ಮಿಹಾರು ಆಪ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ನ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ ಮಿ ಆಪ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲೆವೇನೆ Welcome once again to PSM News in English. Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shiam announces that proposals for mariculture or sea farming in the Maldives have been received from both local and international sources. The government aims to position the Maldives as a major player in the regional mariculture sector. 4 areas have been identified by the government for the development of the mariculture industry within the Maldives. Speaking on a program on PSM News, Fisheries Minister Shiam stated that several local and foreign investors have already expressed interest in investing in the Maldivian mariculture industry. The minister noted that President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu envisions the development of the country's fishing industry. The minister said discussions are already ongoing and there are local investors who are prepared to establish mariculture on a commercial scale in the Maldives along with foreign investors. He added since a considerable number of proposals are received, it is believed the industry is highly a promising industry. The government has decided to grant significant concessions to foreign investors. As such, the land acquisition fee will be waived for land within the 4 officially designated areas and no land rent will be charged for the first 3 years. Additionally, the government has decided to exempt import duty on equipment. The government identifies 4 areas for the development of the mariculture industry in the Maldives. This announcement was made by Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shyam while inaugurating the graduation ceremony for the second batch of the basic mariculture course. Fisheries Minister Ahmad Shyam stated that regulations for mariculture activities in these areas are currently being formulated. He emphasized that the mariculture industry is set to develop as a distinct sector. As such, the Cabinet has approved 4 key areas in the Maldives for this purpose. The designated areas are Bodutila Dummati, which includes Ha Alifu and Ha Dalu atolls, as well as Ra Atoll, Mimu Atoll and Tha Atoll. Additionally, a lagoon approximately 2 kilometers from Manifushi has also been allocated for mariculture. The necessary regulations are currently being prepared for the opening of these areas. The government has introduced significant incentives to attract foreign investment. Land acquisition fees will be waived for plots within the 4 designated areas, and no land rent will be charged for the first 3 years. Furthermore, duty exemptions will be granted for the import of essential equipment. A total of 16 participants attended the second batch of the basic mariculture course conducted by the Maldives Marine Research Centre with financial assistance from the World Bank. This program aims to train specialists to work in the mariculture industry. Participants received training on core aquaculture systems, fish and sea bass breeding, indigenous seafood and eel cultivation, disease identification and prevention, and environmentally friendly mariculture practices. To date, 26 individuals have completed training under the mariculture program. Minister of Housing, Land and Urban Development Dr. Ali Haider Ahmad announces that the population for urban centres in the Maldives has been set at a minimum of 10,000. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu has identified 7 islands to be developed as urban centres. Speaking on a program aired on PSMNEWS, Housing Minister Dr. Haider explained that the islands selected for urban development were chosen based on the extent of investments made to date. He noted that key considerations include the level of healthcare, education and construction services already available. Furthermore, if the selected island has a nearby lagoon, the lagoon will be reclaimed to allow for further island expansion. The minister highlighted that the urban development plan and supporting policies are currently in the formulation stage. These policies will aim to create opportunities for both government and private sector industries. Dr. Haider reiterated that the population standard for urban centres is set at 10,000, and as the population grows, additional services will be introduced. The 7 urban centres are distributed approximately in the centre of the Maldives, ensuring that residents will not need to travel far to access essential services. Addressing the challenges posed by climate change to small islands, Dr. Haider emphasized that environmentally friendly development is crucial for the safety of island residents. These urban centres are designed to provide safe access to higher education, healthcare and various business opportunities. The 7 islands designated for urban development are Ungufaru, Ra Atoll, Edafushi in Ba Atoll, Nafaru in Laviani Atoll, Mahibadu in Alif Dalu Atoll, Nilandu in Fafu Atoll, Kudahuadu in Dalu Atoll, and Fonadu in Lamu Atoll. Under President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's housing and urbanization policy, 7 additional medium-sized urban centres will also be developed, which are 3 in northern islands and 4 in southern islands from Malé. These urban centres are intended to provide modern services across the atolls, reducing reliance on the Greater Malé region. Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal says that tourism can be developed in any region of the Maldives sustainably, adding the government has the spirit to do so. The minister was speaking at the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding for the development of the 5-star training resort. Tourism Minister Ibrahim Faisal said no government has done anything to promote tourism in Addu city in a sustainable manner. However, the visits to Addu and other islands where there is no tourism in the country also showed that tourism can be promoted in every region of the country. The minister said the government's policy is to create a certain number of beds through local tourism in the islands where there is no tourism. If these beds are developed and people are trained through the training resort, it will be one of the most important things the government can do for the industry. Furthermore, Minister Faisal also spoke about the Velana International Airport VIA development project. The project will pave the way for more tourists to come to the Maldives. The airport development project is a multi-million-dollar project. which is a big project that will change the whole country. The government has launched a 20-year master plan for the development of the VIA in January this year. The project will develop VIA into an airport with a capacity to serve 25 million passengers annually. It has a capacity of 4,000 passengers per hour. VIA's domestic terminal, which currently handles 300 passengers per hour, will be upgraded to a terminal capable of handling 2,000 passengers per hour. State Electric Company Limited, Stelco, launches an initiative to harness energy from ocean waves, introducing the Wave Monitoring Project to collect essential data on generating energy from the sea. In a social media post, Stelco's Managing Director Hussein Fahmy shared that this study is part of President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's commitment to shift 33% of the Maldives' energy consumption to renewable sources. Fahmy emphasized that wave energy, alongside the nation's solar energy systems, could drive the Maldives towards its sustainable energy goals, with wave monitoring marking a significant step towards achieving these objectives. Fahmy noted that exploring wave energy would diversify renewable energy sources beyond solar power, supporting the nation's move to sustainable energy development. He described this project as a major milestone in finding innovative energy solutions and fulfilling President Muizzu's vision for 33% renewable energy in the Maldives. Wave energy offers several benefits, including a more consistent supply compared to solar, as it is less affected by weather fluctuations. The study aims to establish a reliable energy grid by integrating wave energy with existing renewable sources, enhancing the resilience of the Maldives' energy infrastructure. The Maldives government has set an ambitious target to reach 33% renewable energy consumption within 5 years. To support this, the Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy has launched the Energy Policy and Strategy 2024 to 2029. Additionally, renewable energy systems are to be implemented on 160 more islands, with the assistance of the Asian Development Bank ADB, advancing the Maldives towards its sustainable energy goals. Asian stocks rise broadly, tracking Wall Street's overnight rise to record high as investors digested the Federal Reserve's message for careful interest rate cuts, even with expectations for big fiscal spending under incoming President Donald Trump. Associate Professor of Finance at Melbourne's RMIT University, Angel Zong, said although the US Federal Reserve's rate cut was expected, Trump's pro-growth policies could be inflationary and slow down future cuts.
I think this rate cut is expected. I think it will deliver a positive impact on the market, because usually low interest rate will reduce cost of borrowing for companies, which can lead to investment in business operations, expansion, and hiring. So this can boost corporate earnings and in turn stock prices of companies.
In Tokyo, the benchmark Nikkei 225 opened up 1.02% to 39,783.45 points. The Nikkei rose 0.3% to 39,515.36 by the midday break, after ending lower on profit taking the previous day, while the broader Topix was up 0.1% at 2,746.04. In South Korea, the benchmark Korea Composite Stock Price Index KOSPI opened up 0.86% to 2,586.70 points. In Shanghai, the benchmark Shanghai Composite Index SSE opened up 0.91% to 3,502.13. There's a mismatch in Australia's housing market. Around 12 million bedrooms sit empty while countless Australians are looking for somewhere to live. But it's not as simple as moving people into the right-sized homes, because in many cases there aren't any.
In the midst of a housing crisis, Australia has millions of empty bedrooms. On the surface, it seems like a potential solution. 5 of those bedrooms are in Tony and Julie Papineau's home, which shows reality isn't that simple.
We have a few bedrooms upstairs that are vacant since the kids have all moved out.
They've lived here about 20 minutes from the Perth CBD for the last 4 decades, but now it's too big.
This is one of our guest rooms as well, and I've turned it into my drum room because that's my hobby.
The problem is getting people like us out of here. Where do we go? We haven't got anywhere that compares, this location is fantastic.
As real estate agents in the area, they know they're not alone.
Often I get asked when I'm talking to potential sellers to say, well, if you can find me a nice 3-bed, 2-bath on a smaller block, I'd be more than happy to sell this property. But that's a difficult ask and a difficult find as well.
Across the nation, Winthrop is one of the suburbs with the most spare capacity. In other words, homes that are too big. About 54% of WA's homes have more than one spare room. Queensland comes in next at 48%. Across the country, the average is 45%, equating to about 5 million spare rooms. But there are only 300,000 households who say they need more space. That means it's not as simple as shuffling people around to get them into the right-sized homes, because many of those homes are just too big. Changing rules around stamp duty or subdividing blocks could help, but experts say neither is a silver bullet.
What we need is a strategic approach where there's some large-scale redevelopment where you can create precincts with good amenities that can cater for the increase in traffic.
That's tricky enough in an established suburb.
I think if we look at a development like this today, we would say that we really did undercook it in terms of density.
And even harder right now.
Many apartment projects just aren't feasible due to rising construction costs and skill shortages.
The lesson is to deliver more housing choice. We need a much greater diversity of housing types. We need 3-bedroom houses, we need townhouses, terrace houses, as well as your apartments, both low and high-rise.
In the meantime, Tony and Julie will keep waiting for a home closer to their needs.
I enjoy my drum set. I've got an electronic kit, I've got an acoustic kit. So we've made use of the rooms, but in a different way. Yes.
As governments try to unpick decades of development, which has left Australia with too many spare rooms. Kian Burke, ABC News.
Officials from the International Olympic Committee (IOC) and Dhaka 2026 organising team affirms that preparations for the upcoming Youth Olympic Games remain on track. Senegal is set to host Africa's first ever Youth Olympics, scheduled for 2026 after delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2026 Games mark the first time an African nation will host an Olympic event, a significant milestone for the continent and the IOC's efforts to expand the Olympic movement globally. The Games, which focus on athletes aged 14 to 18, are expected to attract international attention and provide a platform for Africa's youth to showcase their talents on a world stage. IOC Vice President Nawal El Moutawakel highlighted the significance of bringing the Games to Africa, calling it a historic moment for the continent. Infrastructure for the Games is expected to be completed by December 2025, enabling test events for international athletes. Senegal's National Olympic Committee President Mamadou Diana Niade acknowledged the challenges but assured that the timeline remains achievable with the addition of a new stadium enhancing the original plan. On a crisp November morning, a school in the Romanian village of Sindrilita received some unusual visitors, a rescued chicken, a duck and their human handlers, to improve learning and teach students to be kind. Rodica the chicken and Bubbles the duck were introduced to the students by Oana Vasiliu, a veterinarian at a wildlife rescue foundation. Bubbles, apparently the more extrovert of the two, waddled around the classroom with the 5th grade students following behind, while Rodica stayed at the front of the class to be petted. Around 20 schools in Ilfov County, surrounding Romania's capital Bucharest, are pioneering the animal awareness class for 5th and 6th graders this year, in a project officials hope will boost empathy, learning and help combat bullying, and there are ambitions to take the program nationwide. Ralona Balanew, the animal protection advisor at Ilfov County Council, said bullying in schools had reached fairly large proportions and interacting with other animals with missing limbs or eyes could help children accept people who were different to them. Vasiliu said the emotional impact and the message about being kind was strong for children when they met the animals in person, rather than being shown photos or learning about the issue on television. And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates. Have a good evening. Goodbye. ಜುಮ್ಹೂರಿ ದುಹುಗೆ ಖಾಸ ಕವರೇಜ್ ಜುಮ್ಹೂರಿ ಉಫಾ
ಆಹಾರತಕ್ಕೆ ಫಾಯಿತುಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಎವ್ವೆಸ್ ರಸ್ಕಲಕ್ ನೆತಿ ದಿಯುಮಫ ದೆಂಗ್ ಮಶ್ವರಾ ಕುರವಣಿ ಕೊಂಕಹದ ನಿಜಾಮಿತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯಕ
ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ತೆರೆಗ ಜುಮ್ಹೂರಿ ನಿಜಾಮ ಅವಮುಗ ಪುನಿಯ
ದೆಂಗ್ ಅವುನ್ ದನ್ನವಾಲ ನಮ್ ವೋಟು ನಗಿ ವಾಕೆದಂ ವರ ತರಕ್ಕಿ ಅಮಲೆ
ಜುಮ್ಹೂರಿಯತಕ ಬದವುಮಕಿ ರೈಯತುನ್ಗೆ ಮಸ್ಲಾ ತಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋಮ ಫೋರ್ಸತ್
ನವೆಂಬರ್ 11 ದುವಹು ಹೆಂದುಣು ಅಗ್ಗಡಿ ಸುಮ್ಮಿನಟು